RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a Tuesday night live stream. Excited to be back for another day. Looking forward to sharing a couple articles as well as getting your thoughts on what's going on out here in these in this crazy world we're living in these days. And so got a couple of things I want to touch on as well as open up the mic and hear from you guys. And so welcome. So my name is Mike, the host. Looking forward to checking in via chat as always. For those that are new to the channel, feel free to let me know where you're watching from. We'd definitely love to welcome you to the community and get your thoughts on what's going on. So I want to dive right into it this evening and get to some articles briefly, but let me check in and see who's tuning in thus far. Got Mr. Low Blood Pressure in the building. It says 100 million vaccine, 100 billion tax hike, 100 trillion relief package for banks, and zero for you. Okay. Mr. Daryl Burks in the building. Mr. Dr. Moda. We got Philman. We got Premium, Solo, Monkey King says silver and gold, brass, copper, lead. We got Dread Headlocks. Okay. Mastermind, New York Redneck. Amelia, if I'm not pronouncing that incorrectly. JK in the building. Okay. Fair amount of people, my friends. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everyone's well. And then also, as always, there's a couple stories that I came across that I wanted to bring to you guys tonight. But as I always mention, there's more stories than I can actually touch on myself. So feel free, throughout the day, at any time, if you happen to come across something that you think the community needs to hear, definitely feel free to connect with me via social media and get that over to me, or shoot me an email. And I appreciate those in the community that do send me emails. I do get them, and I try to touch on them if I can or share them with the community. So we're going to dive right in. We got Ken, your brother, in Charlotte. How you doing, Mr. Ken? We got Ganesh in the building. Solo says, Moto, you won't believe me. Fear, flat fire. All right, so let's dive right in, man. So a lot of things worth touching on, but the thing that caught my attention today, of course, it caught me by surprise. And so outside of all the lawsuits being filed by Trump's team, it looks like the states might be going at it. And so I guess Texas decided to file a lawsuit attempting to take it directly to the Supreme Court. And so that's going to be interesting, because that definitely is a curveball that I didn't foresee coming, but perhaps you guys did. But yet, will it matter? And at this current moment, with all the other issues that we're facing, do people really even still care about this presidential election outside of those diehard Trump supporters that want him to get a second term, as if anything is really going to be much different? And then here's another question. I was actually just on Twitter a moment ago, and I think it was David Knight, who works with Alex Jones over at InfoWars. He put a question on Twitter, basically sweet and simple, saying that once all this presidential stuff is over with, whether it's Trump or Biden, does any of that matter in regards to the agenda to still attempt to vaccinate every person in this country? And so that was just a question he put out there. And my response was, no, it does not matter, because ultimately we know the agenda is in full play. So Operation Warp Speed is still going to be pushed out there regardless of who's in office. Even today, with President Trump giving his little spiel on, signing an executive order to make sure that all the pharmaceutical companies that receive government funds will only will make sure that the U.S. citizens get a chance at getting those vaccines first. And, hey, depending on where you stand, man, I'm finding more and more information about this whole vaccine push and the things that are actually inside of them. And I always was leery of vaccines, but yet really the fact that this thing right here, as I mentioned before, because they're utilizing new technology inside of the vaccines, we're far beyond the point of actual medicine. And even, I would say it's science, but it's like more so like science fiction as far as some of the things they're trying to do to our bodies, man. So, all right, enough of me ranting, man. Let me get into some articles here, and curious to get your guys' thoughts on it. And so the very first article, which I think is something worth, touching on, because I'm not sure if this came out of left field or this was a part of the game plan, but it's the idea that Texas is suing 4 states over the 2020 election rule changes they claim are unconstitutional. And so I actually came across this earlier today on Zero Hedge. And of course, the great state of Michigan is one of the states that's being listed there. And I myself, as a witnessing firsthand how the governor here, as well as the attorney general and all the other politicians they've overstepped their boundaries, in my opinion. They've removed all types of choice for us to be able to decide whether we want to or not actually go sit down and dine in a restaurant. As of today, or as of yesterday rather, they extended an additional 2 weeks of shutting things down restaurant wise. And one of the quotes that came out from the Michigan Department of Health was that something about science wins, or something like, or we got to trust science. They're using the word science nowadays, like science can't be wrong, or like science is 100% factual, and you can prove it outside of those bogus graphs and stats they be throwing at us. Because once again, the stats, you at this current point, you can't trust anything that's given to you by the mainstream news sources or your politicians, man. Like, they are all in this boat towards this great reset to where you can't trust none of these people here. But I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on this Texas suing. Like, will this is this another angle at which Trump might have a chance at exposing all of the fraud that's out there? Because I would imagine by now, even people who are, pro-Biden supporters or just democratically, motivated or charged in general, you have to admit that things aren't lining up. When you get all these videos, there's more than enough videos circulating on Twitter that would make anyone question, regardless of whatever, side you're on, whatever candidate you're for. At this current moment, the voting structure is being exposed as a complete heist. Not only, I think, Tony B mentioned last night, and I'm actually going to pull up in a minute here, but the idea of the popular vote doesn't even actually go towards counting towards the actual president. It's more so towards the electors. And so this whole voting process, well beyond this particular point, has been one illusion, giving people the choice of being able to choose, but in actuality, everything already been determined for them. I think it's really been exposed now. And as a result of this Texas suing the states, I think this will lay the foundation for more states I actually going back and forth. And as I've always mentioned before, us heading towards the divided states of America, where we have more tit for tat issues amongst states, to where it actually leads to some type of breakup or the push for secession away from the so-called union or whatnot. So I think this is going to lay the foundation for an interesting scene in 2021. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. Lance, I appreciate that. It says, check out USC 18 241242. I only chance. Okay, I'll look into that. Do me a favor, give me a little more insight as to what that is, Lance, because I have to go digging for that one. But it says, Goldie says, Texas needs to fold their hands because today is a safe harbor day, and most states are already chose their elections, which Congress has to count. Okay, so here's one of the things that I was watching a commentator talk about this, and one of the things that came out of the whole topic of Texas even bringing this forth at such a late period in this whole electoral process, because let me pull this up here. So as of I appreciate Tony B for sharing this last night and actually emailing this to me today. But as of now, there's still a window of time. And so it's not until next week officially that electorals will have to actually put together their certifications, as well as says the government sends one of those original certificates of ascertainment to the archivist. So there's still a little bit of time here to where things can get ironed out. So I think Texas is strategically trying to stall a little bit. But I think at the best case scenario, if Texas is not successful in actually being able to position this before the Supreme Court to actually make a ruling of some kind on basically not counting or eliminating the electoral votes for those four states, I think the ultimate goal is to expose the amount of fraud to where they run down the clock, in a sense, to where they have the states that are being challenged, which are, of course, we got Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And so if somehow, some way, Texas can cause enough strife and problems to where they have to either not include those electoral votes into the whole electoral count, is what I'm assuming they would want to do, that would definitely, it won't give us an actual winner or loser, but it'll hopefully eliminate a lot of the states that are being challenged right now, and the amount of fraud that has been done with the ballots and all that other stuff, the signatures and things of that nature. So you remove those 4 states out of the count of total electoral college votes, that right there will definitely hinder Biden's and his camp's plans at, just being ushered in without question. Because I think at that point there, I don't know what the total count would be, but it would definitely hinder the so-called, I think I saw some about 307 to 230 or something like that. So it would definitely break it down to something relatively close, and then we will see how that all plays out. But I think it's a last minute tactic that could work, might not work, who knows. But curious to hear what you guys think about that, man. And so Mastermind says Trump has been too quietly lately. Something is brewing. They are regearing. And so yeah, so even today, watching Trump doing Operation Warp Speed, little executive order signing, he looks discouraged, deflated, or he just doesn't look like his normal self. And the first thing that came to my mind in watching him was, it took me back to a press conference he had at the announcement or the rolling out of the whole Operation Warp Speed, when he had the military generals and some of the security, Department of Defense and Department of Health and all stuff like that around him. And those individuals there, they already had a script. And so they were going to the podium announcing whatever the next, phase would be for all this rollout of the vaccination push and stuff like that. And I think it was Attorney General Barr. He said something, and I wish I could find a video, but it just came to me right now. But he basically said something that it looked like, it appeared that even President Trump was not even aware. Like, they didn't even tell him what they were going to say. And when I saw that, it really made me think about the fact that President Trump, outside of him being a lot of jip and jabber right now, been very vocal. He still can talks about the fraud and election, whatever. I really don't think that he he's going to be heartbroken if he loses this go round, because I think he's putting up more of a front and the illusion for all those that believe in him. And I think a part of his assignment and his whole transition was to get a good portion of America to buy into the fact that he's for America, that he wants to make America great, that he wants to keep your guns in your hands, that, he's the good guy for half the population, that, of course, those that voted for him, while we already know the continuous push for complete annihilation of our country, more so from the left agenda. So it doesn't surprise me at all that it's the good guy versus the bad guy. And it's more of a show than it is anything else, in my personal opinion. But we will see. I hope I'm 100% wrong. I hope there is a little bit of truth, as well as fight and outright love for this country and the way things have gone, or the way things have been up until this point. Seeing that, or knowing that they want to take this country off the cliff with all the agendas out there, and basically getting back to the globalization, which, Trump clearly interrupted when he decided to remove and to put a pause on all the globalists and their attempts to create that one world government that Biden will definitely take us into. So enough ranting on that, but I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on that. Will this Texas suing, my great state of Michigan, will it matter? Will it help his call at all or not? And then here's something else as well. Just a sign as to how, I guess, science, the push for science wins. Science is everything. And so according to Biden, his first 100 days, he said that he will sign a federal mask mandate as he lays out his 100-day plan to fight this current pandemic. So my question for you guys, I'm curious to find out, this is rumored, a couple weeks ago. He might even hinted at this a couple weeks ago. So this particular topic is nothing new. We know that, he's 100% for science, whatever that might mean. And so my question to you guys is, what else do you anticipate him looking to accomplish in his first 100 days? So say if he does actually walk in and the whole inauguration takes place on the 21st of January, by April 21st, or April, by the end of April, by the beginning of spring, ultimately, what do you guys see transpiring in his first 100 days that would either be shocking or not of surprise to anybody else? Let me know in the chat. And so TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. So that's going to be back in play, according to S400. What else do you guys see? Cynthia says America needs to repent. God is judging it. No doubt. And here's one of the things you will not hear about. If this is such a serious pandemic where it's taking lives at the numbers they're giving us, well, of course, the survival rate and all that other stuff is far greater than the effectiveness of any of these vaccines they're putting out there. But at what point does any of our leadership call upon the name of Jesus Christ? Whether they are believers or not, this country, founded upon Christian principles in nature. So at a worst case scenario, why not seek a higher power as opposed to continue to say, just trust science? Like, what happened to calling on a national day of prayer? Let's all come together. If you're not a believer or not, call on whoever you believe, and let's have a day of silence, a day of prayer, and let's take it before the throne and let the Lord deal with it, as opposed to trusting science as well as a pharmaceutical industrial complex to come out with some type of vaccine to solve the problem. And on top of that, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to dive deeper into the whole vaccine thing. And I'm more than likely not going to do it during a live stream. I might do it on a different platform just because I don't want to run the risk of losing everything here and being disconnected from everybody. But I am ranting a little bit too much. So Brandon, he said Christian principles, laughing my butt off. Okay. So it's ultimately just it can be considered natural law at this point. The idea of not wanting to, steal, kill, harm your fellow neighbor, all those type of principles would apply regardless of whatever faith or denomination you're in. It's the idea that the vaccines themselves, based upon the technology in them, the short-term and long-term effects that there's going to cause to the human body will be the equivalent of doing harm to your neighbor. And so if we really cared about life in general, outside of the whole abortion concept of what age is a child born to conceive, all that stuff that science has been very, very problematic in that department there, and so I can go deeper into my beliefs on that, but I'll let that be. But just when it comes to just respecting human life, it's good to say that this type of technology they're rolling out is not good for the body, but yet that's nobody seems to care. I'm saying if you care about your fellow neighbor, you're not going to try to put something in their body that's going to do them bodily harm outright. So that's wrong. That's evil. And I think we all can agree on that. So that doesn't really require any particular denomination itself. That's just natural law of wanting to treat others like you want to be treated. But anyway, I don't want to preach to you guys tonight. That's not what I'm here for. Let me say, Way Removed says the vaccine side effects are worse than the virus. Oh, no doubt. It's no doubt. What excites me is the fact that more people are waking up to this reality. And so I came across an article yesterday I meant to bring up, but the New York Fire Department, over more than 50% said that they're not taking it. And so if we get more people that are in unions as well as in communities and organizations to voice their opinion, it's going to be hard to, continue to push the need to, or the demand for people to voluntarily do it. Unfortunately, they might go to plan B, which would be to, of course, here's another thing that, Biden could try to do in his first 100 days. Never sleep on the fact that to these individuals here, the agenda is more important than the solution to the so-called problem that is present. And so another thing Biden could do in another 100 days is literally they're going to start throwing out the language of making sure that they may not use the word mandatory. I think that's ahead of the time frame. They would prefer to probably have the mandated side of things in 2022, because once again, if they are rushing out this, the immunity or the antibodies will only last so long before you'll need a second dose. And at that point, there's still going to be flare-ups. And off another note here, there's a epidemiologist in the UK, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They gave him, front spot on one of their news sources. They're saying that he said the third wave is coming. He said by the middle of January. And so already that's the first person I heard mention the third wave is coming. And so I thought we're supposed to be in a second, like what happened to the second, but once again, the flu decided to take the winter off this year, so everything is packaged under one little window. So that type of propaganda we're going to see more and more of. So okay, here's something. Empirical Truth says Biden will have us in World War III within the first 100 days. And so the question will be, against who? Will he do it with China or Iran? Because the more and more I'm hearing about China, I was always suspect as to how much interference comes from outside of our country. Because based upon what I'm witnessing, is that we're imploding. We're self-imploding ourselves. Like, we're so divided and so indebted, as well as so we're so far from being on the same page. We're imploding. So we're just self-destructing right now. So did Russia, really need to interfere? No, I don't think so. Did China really need to interfere? If Trump continues to do what he's done, passing tariffs and calling China out for being manipulators of currencies and all types of things like that, then okay, China could, tired of being, having everything pointed at them in a negative sense. So of course I can see them getting involved. But I'm of the mindset Biden is basically going to just usher everything into President Xi's hands in the next couple of years. So I don't necessarily see them wanting to go to war with China. So but definitely war is always in the cards. El Monty says war with Iran and later China and North Korea. Okay, I forgot about Kim Jong-un. And that's pretty quiet over there. So I wonder, what the situation's like within the North Korean borders. Like, is there a pandemic in North Korea, or is it life is normal over there? So once again, as you guys notice, we only get one side of the camera, and that's basically everything pointed in on us. And so in order to get a better scope as to what's going on outside here, we have to go to different news sources. And in particular, your best bet is to go to alternative media sources in different countries, because they have a much different approach. Tony B says we are having an insolvency problem that we can't escape. Time is not on our side. Tony B, 100% correct, man. The insolvency issue I'm assuming that you're referring to is the fact that there's a lot of debt that's due, and there's a lot of individuals, entities, companies, corporations that won't be able to meet those obligations, and so there'll be a incoming crises outside of what we're already experiencing that will take effect on January 1st as of now. But here's one thing that I wanted to touch on that let me see if I can find this here. Yep. Okay. So this could be good news that could help some of those people, and the idea of having some insolvency issues here. And so it says more than 42 million student loan borrowers don't have to resume paying until February. So I'd assume that the student loans was probably set to expire, if I'm not mistaken, at the beginning of the year, the whole forbearance. And so they're extending the student loan repayment process. So not sure. It says the extension gives more than 42 million student loan borrowers, including more than 37 million that haven't made a payment in months, a further break in this current pandemic continues to slam the U.S. So this could be right here. So this type of event here, kicking the student debt can, 60 days further, could buy a couple people some time to make some tough decisions. Do you put gas in your tank or food in your stomach, or do you go buy a new PS5, or or what? Those difficult decisions that people probably will make. And so the insolvency issue, Tone, is that I think we're going to see more of this. And so, of course, the stimulus stuff I saw today, looks like the Senate decided to shoot it down. So what I see is more of this same type of stuff, kicking the can down further to prevent some of the insolvencies in the retail space when it comes to mortgages and the forbearance, stuff like that. Not quite sure what they're going to do about the rent situation. I think the CDC, not the CDC, but I think it's CDC, whichever government entity that passed another mandate or something saying that renters don't have to pay. I think through this year. I think so. So all that stuff will be further kicked down the can, and ultimately will not be paid in general. So student loans, here's the thing, 42 million people, they began rethinking the student loan concept a long time ago. And right now, especially with colleges right now doing everything online, I would probably bet that this upcoming semester in January, that starts mid-January, whatever, there's going to be a lot of parents as well as those that are seeking higher learning pulling out of college and taking some time off. So yeah, Solo says, Mike, the only stimulus will be for Wall Street and the huge corporations. U.S. common folk will be left holding the bag as always. Yeah, and so Solo, by this point, everybody, we have more than enough evidence that shows that there is no real interest or desire, to provide aid or help for the people that would even make a difference. So even the stimulus checks didn't really do much. It didn't put a dent in nobody's lifestyle. It didn't improve your lifestyle, I would assume any. Some people speculated with it. Most people went and blew it on, consumer items. And some people probably paid down debt. Some people saved. Okay. But once again, it's not enough to really do much for you. So here's something else that will get more attention this upcoming year. And so we're going to have the test pilots for the universal basic income concept that Kamala Harris was big on a while ago about providing funds. So I think she's one of the individuals that talks about, as well as AOC and the Michigan representative Tlaib, whatever, I can't think of her name. They're big proponents for the $2,000 a month program. So when I saw this article here, and it, of course, is mainstream, so there's an agenda behind it. But when you got a Twitter CEO, Jack Dorsey, donating $15 million to help cities provide guaranteed income to residents, this is just a test pilot to provide scientific stats and data for certain think tanks to roll out to the government so that you can have the AOCs, the Bernie Sanders, the Elizabeth Warrens, and Kamala Harris, who would definitely be on board with that, to come out with the actual rollouts of UBI, which could easily be here in some form or fashion by next fall, give or take. And so within his first 100 days for Biden's administration, if he gets in there, you're going to hear stuff like this. And so one thing I found interesting is that there's actually a group called the Mayors for Guaranteed Income. And so this is, the young mayor in California is one of them, but it says the money will go to the Mayors for Guaranteed Income, a group of about 30 cities, and will provide each city with up to 500,000. And so the test pilot is designed to give some scientific information for all the UBI, specialists out there to basically be getting ready to announce this. So reason I say this is because it's my personal opinion that as S400, as you mentioned, they don't care about the average person. They never care about the average person. The goal is to create as much desperation as possible, allow people to basically lose everything that they thought they owned, and then come in and save the day with some UBI, with stipulations that you will not be able to participate in this next economy and this Biden economy unless you take one. And so everything is pending upon convincing the American population that you need that, because they're starting to lose control of it, because people are waking up to the fact that this is just, everything is falling into place too easily, that we had a presidential election at this current point in time. At the same time, we had a global pandemic, so the odds of a global pandemic and the most anticipated presidential election that has been preached as the last or most crucial presidential election in the history of this country at the same time. So that's like the odds of that happening are very, very, it's like winning the lottery typically, but yet unless you purposely orchestrate all of this, it's more than possible. So that's where we at now. So we got, a lot of tech companies. So once again, Jack Dorsey's donating. I bet you Bill Gates has probably put in some funds. All the big tech companies that are leading right now, the indices in the all-time high now we've had, another continuous all-time highs amidst all this crises. All those tech giants are putting up funds for the test pilot so that it provides evidence that the liberals will need to take before Congress to say, hey, we got more than, 50% of small businesses are closed, and we got all the restaurants in the country closed. We got, they can paint all these bad stories. It'll make it easier to get across both parts of the House and Senate and it'll be signed into law, and it's going to be rolled out there, man. So, not surprised. All this is lining up perfectly for what they have in play, but there's still hope, because I think the more people are in tune and wake up to reality, the more resistance that's possible. It's all about being able to resisting what you're told from the scientists as well as the politicians. Scientists and politicians, they've all been compromised. Believe me, not a single politician. You can't trust a single politician or a scientist nowadays, because you think about it. The most important thing, in my opinion, to a scientist or anybody in that realm is their career and their legacy. They want to make sure that their papers or their books and their accreditations and patents and all that stuff lives longer than them. So they have to play ball. They got to play ball with those that are doing complete evil. And what's even more sick and twisted is the fact that their children, their grandchildren, their cousins, their nieces, their nephews, and aunties are all going to become victims of this global agenda. And out of pure selfishness, these people are so evil that they would choose their careers and their affiliations and political parties over the health of individuals and the continuance of this nation, which is not perfect, but the fact we still have the ability to speak freely and to be able to possess firearms and to do all those privileges that these individuals are trying to take away from us. But anyway, yeah, it's getting me a little fired up there. I apologize for that. But here's something here that shows more of people actually just not wanting to participate. So New Jersey's Murphy complains non-compliance with the contact tracers hit 74%. And so basically, I forgot about the contact tracing. And so as a part of the stimulus bill, the Democrats want to provide more funds for contact tracing, as well as testing, as well as the vaccines for states. Those three areas is what the Democrats are heavily trying to put into the stimulus bill. And I'm kind of like thankful that it got shot down today. It looks like it's not going through, and I'm okay with that, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want the furthering of this type of agenda, because I think by holding off can give people a chance to get alternative information out there. So contact tracing, up to 74% of people are not getting back with the contact tracers. And so the governor's mad, which unfortunately means that he might have to go to plan B, which is to do something drastic of who knows. But it says here, contact tracing says we now have more than 30 contact tracers on the ground for every 100,000 residents. The rate of non-cooperation is now up to a whopping 74%. This is not a witch hunt. We're only trying to stop the spread of this current virus. Work with our contact tracers. And so if you're not believing that this is all a natural occurring event, then what's the point in cooperating? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not anti-science. I just feel like I'm being lied to. I'm not, I'm not an anarchist, but I'm like, I don't trust politicians. So that's just me sharing my personal opinion. So I'm not going to participate in something that I don't support. That's just how it boils down to, man. So yeah, enough of me ranting there. But anyway, I've been ranting for too long, man. I apologize. Once again, you guys, I got fired up, So anyway, man, let's talk. I've said enough for the night. I want to hear from you guys, man. Give me a call and let's talk about it. I'm curious to get your thoughts on any of this stuff that I've touched on or anything else I have not touched on. The phone lines are open, 313-462-0027. Or like last night, I want to make sure I make it available for those that want to check in. I'm going to, we're going to do the video chat as well. And I would love to, let me get this right. Anyway, got a first call. I'll get that video link out there for you guys to join in. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve, FEMA Region 9.
Steve, FEMA Region 9. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, buddy. You have flames coming out of your ears tonight. You got flames coming out.
Yeah, just getting a little bit, not a little bit, but getting more and more irritated. I mean, I'm not sure I'm up to my what lack of hair I do have in frustration of just hearing about all this science crap. I'm so tired of this science crap. Anyway, go ahead. What's in your mind?
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's all spiritual anyway.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it comes down to, we can mull this stuff over and all the rest of that, but at the end of the day, there are no political solutions to spiritual matters.
100%.
At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Hey, but everybody's tuning in. I can't keep up with all of this information myself. I try to keep up as much as I can, but everybody should be keeping up with that ban.video. Everybody should be keeping up with that.
Yeah.
Those guys are up to snuff. They have all of these doctors coming on the shows, which we know Fox and these regular networks aren't going to allow those doctors on. They either fire them or ban them from speaking. One of the two. About what's going on. But if you can go to ban.video and post that Alex Jones show from today. They have that Dr. Francis Boyle on there. Basically, he's saying that it's a bioweapon, and there's a bunch of, like I said, there's a bunch of stuff that's going to occur with these vaccines. But they're talking about sterilization and all type of things.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the vaccine at all.
Yeah.
I already knew. I know what my line in the sand is.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, I'm not going to do it. The mask stuff is enough for me, and I think that's too much.
Yeah, I agree.
But that is what it is. Hey, but then if you can post that, if you can post that Alex Jones show from today, December 8th. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, I'm looking for a band video now. I'm typing it. So I know I'm familiar with it. So I'm typing in band video, but it looks like it's not coming up. So band.video. Okay, that's why. Okay, band.video. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and you should see that. You should see that show right there. I'm in my car, so let me know if you got it or not.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll try to get it on here real quick while you're on the phone. And let me see if I can pull it up here. Okay, so I see. All right, so I'm at the page now. Now let me find it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say Dr. Okay.
It'll say Alex Jones show December 8th.
Yep, I see it right here.
2020.
I got it up right now.
Yeah. You see where it says Dr. Francis Boyle or something says blah blah blah.
Yeah. I got it on the screen right now. So I will share this with the community right now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And here's the other one. And here's the other one. And this one had me tripping. So stay on that page after you post it. Yeah. There's one more.
Okay.
And it was from it's from probably about 5 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it was on there. And there was a guy, Steve Pachinik, was on the show, and he's one of these CIA cutout guys.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's been around for decades.
Yeah.
And he was saying some stuff that had me laughing in a way, but at the same time, I'm sitting there going, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that this thing is not over yet with this election. This is what he was saying.
Yeah.
This stuff is not over with this election, and that he actually said that Biden is wearing a ankle bracelet monitor.
Yeah.
This is what he said. And Alex Jones told him, "What?" He said, "Are you serious?" He said, "We've been hearing about arrest coming, and we've seen nothing."
Yeah.
He said, "Are you sure that they're not?" He said, "Your information has been good for me over the years, but are you sure that they're not feeding you disinformation about some of this?" And the guy said, he repeated it, that Biden is wearing the ankle bracelet, that they have monitoring him, etc. And if you stay on band.video and you scroll through there, you'll see where it says Pachinik doubles down.
Okay, I got it on screen now. So as you're talking, what came to mind is I've been seeing posts about the military court. It cleared his docket for 10 days, and so when I saw that, that came to mind as well. So I put it on the screen right here. So without really knowing much about it or diving into it deeply, I just see this particular graph here that for the next 10 days, there's some availability in the military court. So what that means, I don't know, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on it. I promise you that.
No, me either. But I just thought I was sitting there kind of laughing, kind of chuckling. Yeah. But I was sitting there going, "What?" I mean, I just put it out there, to let people look at it and see what they say. But it says, Pachinik doubles down.
Yeah.
And it's on that band.video.
Okay. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna keep looking for it, but I just got the one video up now, so I will definitely so people know where to go find it at. So I appreciate you for calling and sharing that.
Cool.
Be good.
You guys enjoy the day.
Yep. Yeah, man. Good stuff. And so once again, all this information is shared. And this is why it's great to have a community of people who keep their eyes and ears open to share, to inform all of us. And so just being able to, have alternative sources of information is very important, because you won't be able to find anything valid from the mainstream media. And so I've always said this before, anybody who looks at a teleprompter and reads word for word, they didn't write it. And so all the teleprompters around this country, they come from, I forgot the name of the company, but there's a publication company that is in charge of, sending the same scripts across the damn country. And they all are bought and paid for screenwriters, basically, and shields for all types of, especially there's going to be more pharmaceutical ads being ran by Moderna, Pfizer, as well as AstraZeneca, and all those companies now. There's going to be everywhere you go. And this is where I think it'd be good to keep an eye on all this. So as you guys see it, definitely, share it or keep an eye on and bookmark it and submit it. And so we can, and so speaking of which, let me see here. And so I started, and so for those, because I started a Discord. So for those that are on Discord, which is like a forum / decentralized platform type of deal, I started a community over there. So that'll be a good way to pop link videos in throughout the day, and you can have people check it out, as well as makes it easier for me to gather them. So anyway, let's keep moving. I got a couple more articles I do have that I can touch on, but I don't want to rant anymore. I want to hear from you guys. So let's talk. Give me a call, or as I mentioned before, check in with a quick thought via face-to-face. I would love to hear your thoughts, or see some new faces. So I'm gonna put this link in the description again, and feel free to click it and join me. Let me make this. Let me try to face here. All right, so I'll put this back here in the chat if anybody want to check in real quick. Let me copy that one. Copy. Share in the chat. All right. And so also, I want to make sure I make a mention again this Thursday for those that are tuning in. Mike Cabrin of MK Bars is joining us for we're actually going to be doing a live stream where we're going to he's going to highlight some of his medals. And so give the people a chance to get their weight up in some unique pieces. So this Thursday night, for those that were not aware, 9:30 would, typical live stream time, it's going to be an auction. So I get a chance to try to figure out the ropes of trying to put together some medals or whatnot for you guys, for those that are interested. So everything will be done online, and so it should be fun. Looking forward to seeing creativity in your hand and real weight, real money, i.e. gold and silver. Anyway, let's keep moving. All right, it says the shots can cause placenta abortions in women. Rolf. And that's the thing. Here's the thing. Like it's always after the fact that we get a chance to go back and assess the damage done. And that's where it's like the importance of getting people to question everything right now, so they don't have that. They don't put themselves in danger, and then looking back saying, I wish I would have known that this is what's going to happen. So I actually saw something from the FDA that I meant to share, but I didn't get a chance to do it. But it was about some of the adverse reaction, things of that nature, that you're not going to be not going to enjoy. But we got Mr. Low Blood Pressure again. How you doing, my man?
Hey, how you doing, Mike? I'm trying to adjust the lights. I'm in a different restroom.
Uh-oh.
Does that look good?
You look good, man. I see you. We see you now. What's going on, man?
It's just I'm in another restroom. Good, good. My kids, they're in the other bathroom, so I got to use this one.
Man, you hiding around the house from the kids.
Oh, you hear my kids? They say hi. My son, he likes watching you. He listens to you sometimes.
So I said hi, man. Appreciate it for.
He said hi, Lolo.
What's going on with you, my friend? Not bad, man. Not bad. Got a little heated today. Got a little disturbed. I'm starting to get pissed a little bit, man. I gotta start showing some emotion. That's all. But other than that, I'm doing good, man.
I heard you're getting mad about this this medicine they're gonna give everybody.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that stuff, Mike. They're not
How can
gonna
you
put
not
it
worry
in.
about it? How can you not worry about it? Because they're coming for you, low blood pressure. Speaking of which, we're going to ask somebody real quick.
Okay.
Mr. Pete from Colorado.
Hey, there he is. Hey!
What's up, Pete? How you doing, man?
How you doing, Pete?
Not too bad. Doing great. I wanted to arm you guys with the whole trust the science argument.
All right, trump the science argument. Give it
to us.
What
is science?
What is science? It's man's way of trying to get credit for what God has already done.
What do I think science is?
In front of the...
I know the scientific method, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know the scientific method. You form you see something, you think about it, you form a hypothesis, you experiment to see if what you thought was correct or not, and then you write down what happened.
That's the official definition there. So Mr. P, what's your definition of science?
Okay, this is proof that somebody's talking. All right,
yeah, so low blood pressure.
This is proof of how much we've lost the narrative. We've lost the debate. We have to play by their game with everything now. Mm-hmm. This whole trust the science and the science settled thing is ridiculous. I work in science. Mm-hmm. And the bottom line is there isn't one set of scientists that are all in agreement with each other. There isn't even two sides. In science, there are thousands of qualified, credentialed people competing to prove that their ideas are correct or to chink away at one idea that's the possible narrative. Yeah. When somebody is literally saying the science is settled, that's like the Catholic Church telling Galileo, we're locking you up because the earth is the center of the universe. We've let them win that much.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, it's spooky, man. It's spooky, and that's why I love retweeting and sharing. Like I think what's her name, Dr. Gold, the young lady in California that got fired and whatnot, and she formulated that coalition of other doctors. Anything that comes from our group, I love to get it out there because that's another side of the equation that more people have to hear. So, yeah, I'm all for hearing more than just one approach from Dr. Fauci, especially.
Yeah, that's true. That's true what you say. There's an epidemiologist that has a radio show. His name is Michael Savage, and he talks about like science, like you're saying. It's always a rediscovering of every year it's something new you discover, even with the same subjects. It's like it's something evolving. That's what you're trying to say, right?
The bottom line is that this is madness. The science has never settled. People come up, they challenge the status quo from the smallest angle. They try to prove it. If they can prove it, the status quo evolves. It's always moving forward. But when anyone ever tells you the science is settled, trust the science, they're telling you trust the authoritarian state and do not question it. And if you cannot question it, you are not allowed to think.
Very true.
Very true, man. So how's things out in Colorado, man? Is everything as normal as it can be or what?
Well, it depends where you are. For me, I mean, nothing's changed for me. I don't have to wear a mask. I don't have to put up with any of this stuff. My heart goes out to everyone who does.
Yeah, well, here in Michigan, we got an extended 12 days of lockdown, which basically just it's the small businesses basically what they're doing in the schools and the sports programs for the kids. So, yeah, but the same old thing we used to hear. Man, so.
And Mike, I want to push back against you a little bit more to give you a little more hope.
Feel free to do so. Go ahead.
Okay. For 8 years, I heard like people fanatically, religiously saying, Obama going to take your guns away. Obama going to take your guns away. Like gun sales exploded, ammunition sales exploded. What did he do? He loosened a restriction on some obscure firearm that no one owns. But no, he never took your guns away. You know, he kicked 5 million people out of their house and made the big banks full. And why do you think Biden's going to be any different? Did Biden win the primary, let alone the election?
Good point.
Did the Democrats vote for him in the primary?
No, yeah, he was chosen. He's the chosen one, and so he's the chosen one because he's a continuation of what already was. Because he has let's say 47 years so he probably is the epitome of the swamp. So yeah, and then did you guys see the his announcement at the World Economic Forum, his last day in office, I think, under Obama, how he was saying that basically trying to talk about the future and where it's heading, as if he already knew at that point he was probably going to be back in the White House at some point down the line. So yeah, he was selected, man. He's a chosen one, but yeah, I hope, you know, I wouldn't mind having some smidgen of hope that he doesn't get in at the 21st. I'd rather have nobody than have him.
Why don't you have nobody, Mike? That's your choice. Do you think I have somebody? Is Biden going to come out to the middle of nowhere and tell you to put on a mask?
No, but he might send some troops your way.
They're already there, Mike. They're from Carson.
Oh yeah.
They got the Air Force. They got the Air Force Academy there.
Yeah, and so we got bases in every state. Say that again.
Under Maduro right now in Venezuela, are there rich people?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You damn well better believe there are, and the rules don't apply to everyone equally everywhere.
Good point.
The more you're tied into the system, the more you're dependent on them, the more the rules apply to you.
Good point, man. Good point. So unplug yourself as much as you can, make yourself less dependent, be self-efficient, and find ways, as you've always mentioned before, of, you know, being your own source of income. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, as best you can. Real talk, man.
Watch my interview with you.
Oh yeah, I gotta put that up. I'm gonna reshare that because it's been a while. We gotta do it again, man. But gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for checking in with me, man. It's good to connect and actually see some faces.
Right,
you know, I appreciate y'all, man.
Mike, turn off the news. It's
all right, Mike.
Crazy.
It's hard. It's hard to. I like to stay up to speed, even though it does depress the hell out of me. So yeah, I probably got to. I got to unplug. I need a vacation. That's all. I'm about to go to Mexico or something. All right, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm playing.
Mike,
all right,
you're always on vacation.
Man. I'm coming down to Corpus. I'm coming down to Corpus Christi.
Hey, come down here, Mike. You know, you just wear the mask at the store, but at the beach, everybody's just relaxing. You know, it wasn't too cold today.
Yeah, man. So I do need some water, man. I need to get myself near some water. But LBP, man, appreciate you for checking in, man. It's always good to have you on.
All
man.
right, Mike.
You're my honorary late night co-host. How about that?
Hey, that's nice. Until people get tired of me.
from the bathroom. Checking in.
Always, I'm upstairs now. I had to go to my upstairs bathroom, you know, because the kids, my bathrooms downstairs are being busy now. Crazy.
All right, man. Be good. Enjoy your night, man.
Have some more kids, Mike. Do it.
Say again.
Have some more kids. Why don't you have more kids?
Nah, man. I think I'm done, man. I'm done. Wifey, we that was in the past, man. I'm done. 2 is enough for me, man.
Man, you're a third of the way there.
All right, man. I'll check in with you later, man.
All right, Mike. Have a good night. Thanks for taking my chat here.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Good stuff. It's always good to catch in and check in and get some laughs, man. So that's why I appreciate doing the face-to-face, man. And so as always, people approaching that 54-minute mark, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight and sharing your 2 cents and basically building each other up and encouraging one another. That's always good, man. So trying to really, so here's an idea. Here's something I'm trying to figure out. I need your help to put a better spin on things of not always being in the talking about the realistic issues we face, which some people might paint as doom and gloom. Like I see some of the comments of people who are not frequent visitors here. They'll say something like, this guy all he talks about is bad news, but I don't share these stories to make them appear bad. I'm just trying to share with you and link it all together to where this current time frame and agenda is, heading. But yet amongst that, there is good news, of course. It's the day-to-day things you do for yourself to build a better life while you still can. And so those are some things I want to talk about more often. You know what I'm saying? So either do an additional live stream or something like that to where we focus on the good things. Of course, typically it's been a while since I talked about gold and silver, but that's your foundation financially, especially. But then you got the spiritual elements, you got the natural elements of all the things you need preparation wise. So those are all things I'm trying to, get in with. So I want to definitely get some ideas from you guys as to, what do you guys want to talk more about other than the mainstream narrative and the spinoffs off of that. So feel free to chime in your thoughts on that, how to spice things up in a more positive note, especially heading into 2021. I would like to be able to, get more people tuned into what's going on the good side of things. So I'm thinking about having some entrepreneurs on, as well as, individuals that are, educated from the sense of things we don't really get a chance to talk about much, such as like, day trading, as well as those that might have interest in cryptocurrency. There's all types of things things as well as areas and skills and things of that nature that we can learn from. So I'm thinking about trying to connect with more individuals like that to educate myself as well as other individuals. King D, Whitney Webb. So I'm glad you mentioned that because Natural Mama mentioned that. So actually, I just got her email address, her personal email address yesterday, and I was starting to formulate an email to have her on the show for an interview. So Whitney Webb, I have her information, so we'll be reaching out to her to get her on the show. So Lance says, "How you going to Mexico? Not coming back." Don't worry about nobody. Thanks for the show. D-Ball, appreciate it. Yeah. Appreciate it. All right, people. That is about the hour point. I appreciate you for hanging out with me. If you've enjoyed any of this tonight, give it a thumbs up. And then more importantly, share this video. Share any videos that you guys like on your social media feeds if you feel comfortable doing so. Because a lot of the conversation and a lot of the topics are not, for everybody. A lot of people, at this point, I'd imagine people, they have to let go of that, conspiratorial stuff. Like he's a conspiracy theorist. Because a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, conspiracies forever, is actually being mainstream stories now. So I'm sure it's easier to convince people to think outside the box and begin critically thinking for themselves. But anyway, give the video a thumbs up. See you guys tomorrow, Lord willing. And we'll be back at it. Remember, for those that are interested on Thursday, having a auction, definitely come out, show your support, get your weight up, and we'll go from there. Sean D says, get Jeff from Dollar Vigilante. Yeah, so Jeff, he's going a little deep with his, and so, but I had Jeff on I think last year, had a great chat, and definitely a cool guy. So I see Mr. Mike, how you doing, my friend? Just giving people a heads up as to Thursday for the auction and whatnot. So Mr. Mike is the gentleman that does the RTD rounds in the chat right now. So definitely check his channel out, and he's going to be sharing some interesting pieces with us. So. Get ready to, get to bid on if you're interested in getting your weight up moving forward. So anyway, people, that's all she wrote for tonight. Appreciate you for hanging out with me. And let's do it again tomorrow, Lord willing. And as always, for all those that are new to the channel, all the information you need down below, links to videos, resources, ebooks, you name it, all the things that help you better unplug yourself from this monetary matrix. Do that. But other than that, be blessed and safe. See you guys later. Peace. Hey there, sorry for this interruption, but I wanted to bring something to your attention. If you've been enjoying this live stream, why don't you partner with me and be a support to the channel via Patreon membership for just a minimum of $5 a month. All you have to do is scroll down beneath this video here, click the Patreon link, then consider donating as little as $5 a month towards the channel. A little bit of crumbs can go a long way, and I appreciate your support. Now, let's get back to this live stream.